Today, we dive into the electrifying and mystical world of Percy Jackson. This iconic tale of mythology, adventure, and fast-paced action has captured the hearts of many worldwide. Today, I am going to attempt to redesign the original cover of The Lightning Thief as my final for Graphic Design 3. And without further ado, let us enter the world of Percy Jackson and The Olympians. The original book cover is one of the most iconic book covers in the last 15 years. The way it captures a dramatic and yet gloomy approach to a lighthearted series is quite fascinating. I believe we need to start here and study the original cover before we can redesign it. First, let's note what was done well. The coloring in my eyes stand out to me as the first thing that I take in every time I glance at this book. It has a gloomy and darker tones of blue and green that make the viewer get a more serious feeling about the series. I believe that represents Percy Jackson quite well, as our main protagonist Percy starts the series off with a lot of anger and confusion in his life. He was forced to move around a lot as a kid, and he was getting kicked out of school more times than he wanted to admit. And worst of all, he had to live with a man named Gabe Ugliano, a great last name I might add. This man was an abusive scumbag of a stepdad. His stench would fill up the entire room and cloud your thoughts. But going back to the book cover, I do want to bring note to smaller details that are usually left unnoticed, which I did actually appreciate here. Firstly, you can see in Percy's left and right hand, he's carrying the Minotaur's horn that he slayed from the beginning of the book, and then he's carrying the famous pen sword that he carries around to do his deeds as a hero. With these left in mind, I want to change our focus to the next main topic, which is our approach and purpose. So my goal is to design a cover that reflects my thoughts throughout the book, but I want to take inspiration and advice from my predecessors that come before me. As world-renowned Edward de Bono once said, creativity involves breaking out of established patterns in order to look at things in a different way. With this in note, I want to showcase my two mind maps that I created in order to spark ideas and branch off from major points in the series. I believe that these were very useful in helping me remember the series clearly and also having fun with branching off from my own ideas. I would recommend everyone and anyone to create a mind map of the series that you're going to make before you start designing a cover. Even though 90% of these ideas and thoughts did not make it into the final version, it's nice to kind of just fully flesh out your own ideas and not just be stuck on the first thought that pops into your head. My first memory of this book was when I was just a kid, maybe about 10 years old, and I remember how inspired I felt through Percy, as he was just a kid like me, and he took on the world at full charge without even looking back. The best part about Percy Jackson was, Rick Riordan loves to remind you that Percy and his friends are just kids at the end of the day. They're not gods, they're not imaginary heroes, they're just like you and me, kids. A quote from this book that really changed my perspective at a young age, and that I even keep with me to this day, was, "If my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself." This quote might seem like not much, but it changed the way that I think. Growing up, I used to have issues with following orders and wanting to follow the ideal norm of studying hard and doing good in school in order to make it to a famous or prestigious college, just to study more and succeed for what? What? Just for me to end up like everyone else in a boring 9-to-5 lifestyle? Which I'm not trying to say is the wrong way to live. Who am I to say what's right or wrong? But for me, I cannot do that. And that's why this quote felt so home to me. I felt as though my first college degree, I was just doing things that others expected or wanted from me rather than actually following my own goals and ambition. And when I finally sat back and realized that I needed to take initiative in my own life and create my own story, everything fell into place. It started being more bright and exciting, which brings me to my next step in this redesigning, which was the thumbnailing stage. Thumbnailing is key to succeeding as an artist and designer. As I first started drawing some of these thumbnails out, I was drawn towards having the character as the main focus, a very up-close image of him with a bigger background. And at the same time, I was researching alternative book covers of The Lightning Thief, and I found this paper texture style format that used these really interesting like hand-drawn clouds to surround the book that gave it this like old style feeling. And I really enjoyed this. I think the designer was going for this old hand style, and I think he nailed it. So in a lot of my thumbnails, I was sketching waves on the side that were inspired by these clouds. I wanted it to be more related to the book, as Percy is the son of Poseidon, and I wanted to have the book more surrounded by these hand-drawn waves instead of clouds, which brought me to the old school Japanese wave paintings that most people are familiar with. Another thing to take note is the thumbnail that caught my eye the most was the one with Percy having his back to us, staring at some sort of object. I didn't really know what it was yet. Maybe a lightning bolt. I wasn't sure. but it was something. He was facing some sort of object, and then I wanted the waves to cover the back and front of the book, which brought your eyes to Percy in the middle of the waves. And so I chose this thumbnail as the drawing that I wanted to continue and make bigger versions of it to flesh it out more. As you can see, I started with Percy standing in front of some sort of podium with a lightning bolt shining right on it, and while keeping the waves on the side of the page. And on my second attempt, I removed the lightning bolt with the podium and put the city of New York City, quote by quote right now, just a basic city, in the distance while keeping everything else pretty much the same. Because I felt like this just looked better to me, having a city in the background. Maybe he's in the water. I feel like this is a good time to bring up the plot of The Lightning Thief and why it was titled as such. Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief follows an epic adventure of Percy, a modern-day demigod and son of Poseidon, accused of stealing Zeus's lightning bolt. Percy embarks on a thrilling quest to prove his innocence, unraveling the secrets of Greek mythology while navigating a world filled with gods, monsters, and unexpected alliances. Percy forms these alliances with fellow demigods like Annabeth Chase, Grover the Satyr, together navigating the treacherous landscapes of both the mortal and divine world together. This book likes to explore the main themes of friendship, identity, and the clash between the mortal and mythological worlds. The narrative delves into the power struggle among the gods, highlighting a hero's journey as Percy discovers his true self and battles ancient forces beyond imagination. As the story unfolds, themes of bravery, loyalty, and self-discovery take center stage. Percy's Odyssey is not just a quest for justice, but a voyage of personal growth, mirroring the challenges that we all face finding our place in the world. I feel the reason Percy is such a loved character by this fanbase is the way that everyone and anyone can relate to him, as we all go through life with unknown outcomes and futures ahead of us. Sometimes you can get lost in your head and lose sight of yourself, but Percy has shown us time and time again that you can defy expectations of others and you can make your own journey, as no one's life is set by some higher power or God. Everyone has the ability to change your future. It just takes going outside your comfort zone and expanding your reach sometimes. And as we reach the end of this video, I'm quite proud of this outcome. I'm still a beginner when it comes to digital art, and I think this is a great way to challenge myself and draw more. And this was for my final project of Graphic Design 3. And yeah, thank you for joining me on this thrilling design adventure. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new. I'm attempting a new kind of format and style with these videos, more professional-ish, quote unquote, more put together, more calm, kind of relaxing. Usually I'm kind of really out there, outgoing, making jokes. I don't know, I feel like a calm vibe is nice. So share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you want to see more of these informative videos. Yeah, love you guys.